Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, the time is upon us for perhaps one of the biggest updates made to Wuthering Waves' endgame. You can see over here, I'm in front of the Tower of Adversity. That's because before we enter, I have something neat to show everybody here. There's now 36 stars that are available, or 36 Doritos, right? And that's because, well, some new floors have been added. And so what I wanted to do today was go ahead and see how the new ToA is looking. There are a bunch of new features. Let's start going through the one by one and break down what we're working with over here. Alrighty, come on, let's do it. Let's see. So, first things first, we get a bit of a preview, right? We see what we did in the last ToA. We didn't cheat. It's just we reset the floors before the reset happens. So we got a 30 out of 30 over here. Let's click confirm. And I'm wondering, where is the whole... Did the auto clear not work because we reset before? I see. So we don't have the auto clear function right now, unfortunately, because this account reset the individual stages before actually going ahead and, you know, having the reset end. And so if you're looking for the auto clear functionality, just ensure that before this timer runs out in the top left, it says 12 out of 12 here, whatever out of whatever here, and then 12 out of 12 on the side. So that's why it didn't actually pop open for us. So that's just a little bit of context there. The ToA, though, now clearly has, it used to be 6 over here total stars. Now we're going to have 12 in the middle zone. Obviously, right, we're still also going to have basically the same exact structure in terms of the rewards. And so stars 33 to 36, basically the two new floors, essentially are just, well, let's just look at this, right? You get 50 astrite for each floor that you do, 3 and 4 in the middle zone, 120 of the blue Doritos, and then 50,000 credits. So naturally, right, the astrite amount isn't really as high as some of the prior stages, but you are getting more of those hazard records, which you'll be able to spend at the store. And so adding these additional floors is actually honestly great for this store in particular, because now you're going to have more that you can, you know, spend on things like, naturally, right, all the credits, EXP mats, and the tuners. So yeah, more rewards overall, mainly on the blue Dorito side, which is the main resource that we've been lacking. Not too much on the astrite side, though. It's like 100 every 30 days. So yeah, I would just, you know, it's the viewpoint of if you can't necessarily do it right now, not the biggest loss, but we'll see how hard all of this stuff is. So let's go ahead and see where the biggest update has been. And that will, of course, be in the middle tower. So let's first just take a look at how the structure is looking across the first two stages, then get on into the new stuff, because it's a little different. All right, so first things first, in the middle tower, we're going to have a Havoc resistance and arrow resistance reduction, and an increase to Glacial and Spectro. So, yeah, you can see over here with bosses like the Fallacy of No Return, the Spectro boss, and then the Glacial squad over here with the Sentry Construct. That's why those are the unintended elements to work with. Now, let's see what the bonus is over here. Casting Resonance Liberation causes a blast that deals arrow damage equal to 120% of the caster's max HP, triggered once every 5 seconds. Targets with arrow erosion have their defense reduced by 30%. So this is basically like the Cartithia buff, but I'm just gonna be honest, Cartithia is not even on banner. And so I guess the idea is that you're supposed to pull Chacona and then work with the Cartithia that you may or may not have. So I'm hoping, right, that the HP obviously hasn't scaled up significantly, because basically, if you don't have Cartithia, you're still getting a benefit of this, because this is still going to be a nuke every single time, but it's not very likely that this arrow erosion effect is doing anything at all. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. Basically, if you're not using Cartithia, you got to use Chacona if you want this effect to even occur. So naturally, when we do our demo stages over here, we're not going to do them. So let's just go ahead and see what the baseline difficulty is looking like. And on this first stage, I want to use the team that I'm not supposed to use. I want to use a Carlotta team, because the Glacial resistance is up, but this is, right, the Fallacy of No Return. So we shouldn't have too much of an issue. This account has no sequence nodes on any character except for Shorekeeper, but it does have a lot of weapons. So that's just something to keep in mind. This is the only dupe that's gonna, I'm gonna be real, it doesn't really have a meaningful effect in the teams that we're gonna be using Shorekeeper on. Just really a quality of life thing. So this really is like max investment, right, with some pretty good weapons. So yeah, that's what the overall stats are looking like. We're going to be using a G-Jaw as well, so let's just take a look at her real fast. Yeah, her gear is a little bit fucked up right now. Let me go fix that. Here we go. All right, yeah, she could be using String Master, all of this. Kind of a little bit too much crit, if we're frankly being honest. Could use more crit damage and actually kind of get better stats that way. But it is what it is. So we'll see if we struggle too much. Let's give it a bit of a try. And once again, we are getting some benefit from the stage buff because every character is going to be able to deal this damage. Characters like Shorekeeper, right, with more HP will naturally deal a little bit more damage that way. But we're still getting some benefit. Which is, I mean, that's what I find to be pretty nice about a lot of the buffs Wuthering Waves puts into its endgame. Even if your character is not specifically designed for it, you can still activate at least part of it most of the time. So let's see how this looks. It has Glacial Res. That's the point. That's why we're using this team. So let's take a look. Let's see how hard the fallacy is and then give some of our feedback from there. All right, start off on Carlotta. Get Jeja primed up. Get Jeja primed up in the middle of the rotation. Then go over to her. Cast her Liberation, right? And rotate through the team. And let's see what the damage is looking like. Into resistance? That's pretty good into resistance. And we should just break him right here pretty easily. We should break him here pretty easily. Maybe not. I thought I was going to have more ER, but she's missing a little bit. And there we go. All right, so the Jeja maybe needs a little bit more ER. I thought I was going to be able to just liberate right off the go, but yeah, that didn't happen, unfortunately. I mean, I'm going to be real, man. This clear feels... Yeah, I'm just doing one more rotation. I'm doing 3 rotations over 2, and this last rotation is like not really a lot of his health. I mean, it's easy. This one's easy. I didn't even need the final shot. Yeah, that's very accessible. All right. Well, I guess we'll go for the next team now. We just used the Glacial team against the Spectral Floor. Now we got the Glacial Floor coming up. What if we just use the Spectro team? What if we just use the Spectro team now and see how it looks? All right, we got a Zani over here. I do believe, yes, she is S0R1. We're also going to have Phoebes over here on the other side of the equation. She's going to be, yeah, on Luminous him and this whole shebang. So, yeah, let's give this one a bit of a look. I'm kind of griefing this Shorekeeper, but it's fine. All right. Oh, whoopsies. All right, let's see what we got going on over here. Seems all right. It's a Spectre resistance. Do realize the Shorekeeper's damage is getting reduced as well. Yeah, in one rotation, we appear to have... What? Didn't I parry that with Zani? I parried that with my Zani. That was a fucking bug, bro. That was... What? Anyways, aside from this bullshit that I just fucking went through in my clear, that was like pretty crispy. I mean, this one is also just 3 rotations. It's also just 3 rotations with, I guess, the enemy just basically dies without that resistance buff. And we probably don't have to do this last rotation without it. But yeah, once again, this is with like ToA things that are just like not really working out too well. We also kind of got fucked over as we were fighting this guy because the Sentry does have one of the more annoying movesets in the game if you don't like hit your parries right on him. And basically we misplayed pretty heavily. And I'm gonna be real, it's like the timing on this one's not that great. That's just what happens in some of the multi-wave ones sometimes. And we still, it's like, it's the beginning of the 3rd rotation. The beginning of the 3rd rotation is when we clear. It's just, yeah. That one was a little bit matchup dependent. Zani is also a really bad match for that boss. Awful, to be honest. So let's go ahead. Let's do a little bit more. Try out a little bit more on the Spectro side. There have been some people requesting this one. What if we use our Jinhsi? Yeah, it might have been a while since some people have seen this character. And let me see if I can get just a little bit more ER on this Jeja. I would like just a little bit more ER. I'm willing to go a little bit lower damage to get a little bit more ER. Yeah, I want that. I know it's a little bit fucked, but I do want some more. I do want some more ER. All right, so we can give this team a bit of a try. I want to see how this one does. And maybe you're supposed to like use Shorekeeper here. I'm not super... You know what? Let's try it with Verita instead. Let's try it with Verita instead. All right, and let's give this one a bit of a go. Wait, we can't put Jeja in. We gotta have Cantarella. Because Jeja is going to be Glacio against Glacio enemies. And that is one thing I don't want because I do think that will actually be trash. So we'll be using Cantarella as the Jinhsi support over here. Not Jeja. The performance is very similar. So just something to keep in mind because I don't want to go Glacio sub DPS into the Glacio floor. Let's give this one a bit of a try. Cantarella's on the Havoc set. That makes it even better when I show you guys how good the clear is. Oh, God. Oh, God. We got to reset off the grouping there. We broke them, and they were too far apart from each other. They were too far apart from each other. Yeah. I haven't actually ever seen enemies ungroup like this before. Just stay there, bro. Just stay there. Stop social distancing. COVID is over. Oh, here we go. Here we go. COVID is over. And we missed the fucking crit on that guy, too. Okay. We missed the crit on that guy. So, this is the thing, is that Jinhsi can be a very frustrating character to play. You are beginning to see firsthand that, yes, sometimes her kit just, like, actually shits all over itself when you're trying to clear content like this. It just happens. Because we had one run that was looking good, and then we went too fucking fast. And then her stuff was on cooldown because we rotated too fast. Now we have, like, the fucking social distancing grouping disaster going on right now. And let's see if we have to deal with crit fishing here. Nope. Okay, we're looking great here now, bucko. All right, surely we finish off this guy without having to use a laser. Okay, we do have to use a laser beam. There we go. Okay, nice. Why do I feel like Jinhsi doesn't have her weapon? She honestly might not. I'm not super sure, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe she does. Maybe she doesn't, right? Oh, I'm in a bit of an ER issue over here. Yeah, we needed our ER for that last rotate. Oh my gosh, we got CC too. Oh gosh, and now Cantarella's kid is literally destroying me. Yeah, maybe with Moonlit it would have been... Yeah, maybe with Moonlit. Yeah, honestly, this was like a build issue. Yeah, with Moonlit, this is definitely done. I mean, it's gonna be done anyways. With Moonlit, it's done faster, for sure. Okay, come on, man. That counts. So, we did this with Jinhsi on... I just want to take a look at what the fuck we were using there. Because I put on some random shit on her. Okay, so the Jinhsi does have her SIG and everything like that. The damage is bad because, well, we used... this. Yeah, we used Midnight Veil. So, it wasn't buffing Jinhsi at all. We also got frozen. Yeah, so we also had an ER issue where we were like just sitting there on Jinhsi not doing anything for a couple of seconds. That easily 3 stars with Cantarella on Moonlit Clouds. You would have gotten ER from the Heron too to give Jinhsi ER as well. Yeah, that 1000% clears. It gives Jinhsi, like, her nukes will go up by, like, around, like, 10-20% damage. Yeah, we're providing no buffs to her. So, yeah, we cleared with actually probably one of the worst things we could do. And it happened, right? We also used Verita, and the team struggled with Shorekeeper as well. So, it's kind of just like... Yeah, the only thing is, we did use a Cantarella, but I'm gonna be honest with you, yeah, we weren't even playing Cantarella well. Yeah, I can't really play that character very well. So yeah, that's basically a clear. I'm just gonna reset it because we all saw that was literally at like 259, 59. I'm gonna count it. We've already explained why I'm counting it. We're gonna move on. All right, so now that we've got in the middle tower, we've seen that it isn't that big of a deal. Let's talk about what's going on in the next 2 zones. And this one's going to be pretty interesting. 60 seconds after the battle starts, Resonator's total damage is increased by 5%. After that, their total damage is increased by 5% every 5 seconds, up to 60. So it looks like every single character will gain some sort of damage bonus as you exceed 60 seconds. Every character is going to gain their damage bonus. You're then going to gain a 30% heavy attack damage bonus, and casting your Liberation is going to grant you a shield to everybody on the team triggered once every 4 seconds. And shielded resonators take 10% less damage and their total damage is increased by 16% for 6 seconds. So every character in the game will get this shield. And it's a universal buff. The only thing that's not universal here is a 30% damage bonus. That's not a lot. I'm going to be honest with you. This is the opposite of shilling. It applies to every character universally, and then enemies take 10% less damage, and the effect is ignored when resonators are shielded. And you should be able to maintain easily full uptime of this effect. It's like, yeah, you can get a shield for 3,000. If you just dodge and are using your Liberation, your shield should theoretically be up all of the time. So, yeah, I got no issue at all with these buffs. They make a ton of sense to me. The only one being slightly shilly is a 30% heavy attack bonus, but it's like, that only works for Augusta. Yuno's the next character. She can't even use this buff. I mean, obviously, right, she will be able to provide her own damage out, but it's like, yeah, this is looking pretty good to me. Now let's take a look at some of the enemies. We're gonna have a Spectro squad over here. You can see Ike's, Light Crusher, Spectro Drake. You're just basically not supposed to use Zani or Jinhsi. If you use them here, you are fucked. And on the next floor, we're gonna have an interesting dual split of elements down here. Okay, I find this to be a little bit interesting because, yes, this effectively means you might not be able to use your Fusion or your Glacio team, but you can use that Spectre team that you weren't using over here, and then use your Fusion or Glacio team over here. So it's a bit like, I kind of wish this was all one element or one attribute instead of 2. This will be a bit of a hit to your roster depending on the teams that you have, or it could be absolutely no impact at all, right? Let's say you're using a Cartithia or a Jiyan team. You don't care. You can just use it on both sides. So let's go ahead. Let's give this one a bit of a try, and fuck it, right? Let's see how a Jiyan with an Augusta Sig does in this lineup. So as a bit of like a forewarning, This Jiyan is using Augusta's signature. It is worse than his signature on him, but it is still pretty okay. So just something to keep in mind. This is worse than Jiyan having a sig, but it's still better than all the other options. And on the side supporting him, we're going to be slotting in a Mortiphy with one of the worst builds I've ever seen. Just give him a shitty Moonlit Cloud set, Static Mist. Let's give this a bit of a try. Alrighty, let's see how we do, boys. The first stab. Oh man, that looks a little bit menacing, gonna be honest here. So maybe it's showing all this Electro stuff because it's intended for Augusta. What's going on over here? So like the background is kind of reflecting the element or the attribute that you should be using. So all right. Huh? Oh, we rotated too fast, bro. What are these guys? They blocked my intro skill. It didn't give energy. This guy's a little tanky. That guy's a little tanky. That first wave was like butt-ass easy. And then this one is like, oh god. Hey, get sniped, bucko. Oh, that was kind of sick. Jiyan fucking got him. Okay, so now that we're a minute in, I'm seeing the damage start skyrocketing. I'm seeing the damage starting to skyrocket now. Okay. Yeah. And naturally, right, you want to make sure that you're not getting hit. Otherwise, that shielded buff, right, that important shield buff really does, like, end up falling out. Oh, we're out of energy. I don't even know why. Maybe I needed more ER on this team. You can see, though, how the damage is, like, starting to ramp up. Yeah, we're doing, like, close to, like, 20k hits right now. Yeah, the damage is ramping up like crazy as the clear is going. Yeah, you also have an extra bit of time as well. You'll see I'm still in the 3-star zone. Where's my energy? I'm getting less and less. Okay. Honestly, the only issue over here is I'm fucking up somewhere with the ER because every single run is like having less and less. If this happened in any Jiyan run, it would be shit. So I'm probably just going to use more skills while I'm doing the Jiyan liberations to have more ER. Because right now, the ER is the only reason why that does not clear. That boss is 100% dead using a 1.0 team if I don't have that ER issue. Because we had it in the last 2 rotations. That and I got fucked up by these rock guys. So let's give it another try and see how we go. Why did it slow down like that? Yeah, I think it's ER, bro. But yeah, this is like... I think I'm getting hit too much, and I'm not maximizing that shield buff. Yeah, I think I'm getting hit way too much. Why is this run is worse than the last run? Let me go ahead. Let me take a look at this. Because that run was worse when we managed our ER better. So one thing I want to check is, how is this buff actually stacking up? Okay. Their total damage increased by 16% for 6 seconds, stacking up to 3 times. Re-triggering the effect resets the duration. So, like, you get a shield when you get the liberation. It's like, on the first run, I was clearing way faster while also griefing half of my rotations. So it's like, I'm not super sure. That is interesting. Maybe somebody can, like, when they're reviewing the footage later, they can do a bit of, like, a deeper breakdown of what exactly is going on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Saint from the future over here. You might have some questions about that Jiyan's performance overall. I just wanted to give you guys a bit of like a look at what Hotoki, the account owner, is actually running on the Jiyan. You can see that some of the pieces are little mid. Yeah, they're not necessarily the best. There are some decent ones in here, but overall, not really like a lot of like attack rolls, very few heavy attack rolls. There's like one really good piece over here, but at the end of the day, right, it is kind of getting, you know, it's a build with a pretty decent crit ratio, but it is missing a lot of subs overall. This is something that a lot of players can naturally, reasonably achieve quite quickly with their build. And once again, we are using a bit of a suboptimal weapon with Thunderflare Dominion, as he's only going to be getting this 20% attack or 20% heavy attack damage bonus, and none of whatever the hell this is down here, because he doesn't refresh those shields, right, and ignore that damage. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind for some of the damage numbers that you were seeing. They're relatively low compared to where Jiyan typically actually is. So yeah, that Jiyan build is obviously, this ain't the best one ever. I'll make sure to give it a try on my account with a Jiyan that actually has like the right investment. This one kind of, it is using Augusta's signature, so we are at a bit of like a loss. And, well, this Mortife's build is also dog shit. So, yeah, if you want proof that the Mortife build is bad, we have 208 ER and no fusion damage bonus. So, yeah, there are like a couple of things over there that do make this one a little bit suspect. And I think that, well, I need to do some further testing with my team because Hotoki, the account owner, doesn't really have that great of a Jiyan. So let's go ahead. Let's give it a look over here. I want to see what another sort of more vanilla team's going to feel like. And I think Camellya is going to be a pretty decent pick over here to be a bit of a judge about what's going on. And I want to use the Camellya with the Sanhua in this circumstance. And let's just go ahead and see. This is going to be like a Camellya carry show with Sanhua's team, with Sanhua's items not really being that great. And we will make sure to use a shorekeeper as well. I definitely will say you want to reserve your best supports for these last floors, because it is a little bit, these fights are long and you want to make sure you're not missing crits. She can't use the stage buff. Yeah, she can. She won't be able to use the heavy attack stage buff. You're missing an echo with the Camellya. Am I? Oh, that's terrible. Oh, we lost Ephemeral. We lost Sanhua's Ultra buff for Ephemeral. Whoopsies. Ah, she missed the crit over there too, bro. Oh, that's another missed one. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. This Camellya is missing too many crits for an 82.5% crit Camellya. She missed basically every single one that mattered. Yeah, that's crazy. So yeah, any character that is just not critting will be fucking bad. Yeah, any unit in the game that crits with that level of frequency, it will be cooked. The run is bricked. The run is without a doubt bricked if that happens to anybody. Okay, they didn't block that shit. That was easy. That was easy. All right, here we go. This guy's a fucking dick. Like, this Light Crusher is actually the worst enemy here. He is, without a doubt, the worst enemy here. All right, we are definitely landing our crits now, at the very least. Here we go. Okay. That time slow is also feeling like fucking bugged, bro. I swear, you're parrying him and he's disabled for way too fucking, like, and it sucks because that shit literally will, okay, this is clearing easy. So it turns out when you have like the character and like their sig and stuff and like actually like good, yeah, this is clearing. Like, I don't even know what to say. Yeah, this is clearing easy. Unless I like grief or something, yeah. This is what I mean by it's like, yeah, it'll... So yeah, this one does push some lower budget teams to the limit, but do realize, right, I am running that team with a naked Sanhua, a sub DPS who's effectively not dealing any damage at all. And Camellya is basically S0R1. The build is pretty good, but we're at very low ER as well. So we're having to do like some extended rotations to have the ER to do what we want. Right? And so it's kind of just like, yeah, this was a one-man show. S0R1, the buffs are letting her hit 500k. The goal, basically, it's like this. If you can dodge most of the attacks and make sure that your shield never disappears, then you will have access to some insane fucking damage buffs. And when you're at the point where you have Camellya's hitting around 500k, looking like they're S3 units with how much... if you're able to leverage these buffs properly, and the main way to leverage these buffs is to dodge, I mean, this kind of is like it's like a weird blend between you can brute force it if you put in some really strong teams, but there's literally a mechanic built in that rewards you with greatly amplified damage if you do dodge. 81-313 is kind of unrealistic. That is literally with a Shorekeeper. Yes, it is 81-313 with Shorekeeper's buffs active, so it's actually like 69-280. Which is very accessible. Well-built Camellya's are 70-something, 300+% baseline. This one is 69% crit, 280 crit damage. That is not, that's like, it is double crit, but it's not like insane rolls. So yeah, this is a very accessible build. If there's anyone telling you that this Camellya's build is not accessible, well, you know what to call them, right? Okay, this is a good piece, right? Yes, it's a 4 out of 5, but it's min rolls. Yes, it's a 3 out of 5, but it's also like, this is like, what? It's a tiny basic attack roll. And then it's like 6.3. Like, yes, it's a lot of 4 out of 5s, but they're very, very low rolls on a bunch of them. And we don't even have ER. Like, low rolls over here, low rolls over here. And do recall, guys, this Camellya has been built since she released. This is the Camellya since day 1. And believe me when I say this, having better subs here or missing a couple of the rolls, yes, there's a lot of basic attack rolls on here. You also want to know what Camellya has too much of? Basic attack rolls, basic attack damage percent, because her weapon gives fucking 70%. So basic attack damage rolls actually do get diluted by like how much damage bonus she has built into her kit and weapons. So yeah, that's the Camellya breakdown. Now, let's go ahead. Let's get right on into the next stage. And this one's going to be really interesting. I'm very interested in seeing how this one breaks down. I want to use, for this team over here, we're not supposed to use... I want to see what R1 triple fusion looks like into this. Like, knowing that one of the bosses is resistant, I'm wondering if, like, R1 triple fusion team just works here. Because there is a glacial side to the floor. So, yeah, Brant's got a shield, so why not? Let's see. This is gonna be rough. Let's see it, boys. Remember, we got until 2:30. Honestly, this is doing, like, pretty good. I expected it to be, like, way worse. Wait, this is, like, half its HP in one rotation. Wait, that is, like, around half its HP in one rotation. Wait, did they remove the damage resistance from the boss? Can I just use fusion characters? The boss still has the fusion resistance? Oh, so it's just, we're just dealing this much damage. Because, guys, this is the thing. You gotta realize this. The future fights only get easier because your damage bonus starts at 1 minute and then gets higher. So the fight only gets easier as, like, time goes on. So yeah, it took us 3 rotations for this guy. Brant should just knock it out of the air here. Yeah, this guy, we have a minute left for him. And we should just shred him. I mean, from what I'm seeing over here is that this team will be able to conquer, yeah, this floor with relative ease. That was nasty. Oh my god. We missed an anchor crit too on the prior run, just so you guys know. Yeah. Oh my lord. I mean, we just threw the fusion team against the fusion boss. That should finish it. Yeah, I mean, so basically with the fusion team, you don't have to worry at all about maintaining uptime on the buff, because Brant basically ensures that you have, like, an unbreakable shield. Basically, this team is like this skill issue team, because you basically are not supposed to get hit, right, to maximize this damage buff. Lupa literally has, with her pack hunt mechanic, she builds in dodges when people are supposed to take damage. Then you got Brant refreshing the shield while your Lupa's auto-dodging, and so your shield stays up. So I really do think that, like, yeah, it's really all about how much you can maintain the shield uptime. That is essentially what your clear is going to be dictated by. Can you maximize this buff over here? It doesn't matter. This 30% means nothing. In review, this 30% might as well not be there because all the damage you're doing is from this ramp up over here and then maximizing this buff. That's it. This 30% heavy attack, absolutely fucking irrelevant as a whole. And so if you're playing characters that honestly need to kind of like tank hits, for example, Jiyan, I think did really fucking bad because he kind of has to tank hits in his rotation. If you're not tanking hits with Jiyan, you are essentially griefing because you'll get out less Qinglong attacks. And kind of like I think like the main thing that's really throwing this team off a little bit is the fact that he has to tank those hits. And so in stages where the buffs don't rely on you being hitless, I think it's going to make more sense, right, to use him. But right now, when our shield breaks when we're playing Jiyan, enemies are taking 10% less damage and all of those other things, right? And people are saying Augusta for these floors. I'm going to tell you one thing. Augusta is similar to Jiyan. She gets hit a lot in her rotations, and you don't like dodging in the middle of her attacks. However, it could be that when Augusta generates a shield, it resets the buff. And so Augusta, based off of her mechanics, might just continually refresh this buff regardless. But Jiyan, right, doesn't have a built-in shield, so his just falls off while he's taking hits. Augusta just gains shield every single hit, so she's maintaining the uptime. So it's like, there's a lot of teams in the game that can leverage this, and you can also leverage it too if you're simply playing a character that can easily weave in dodges into their rotation. Camellya is an amazing example of a character that can dodge during their damaging rotation and face no consequences, because Camellya's dodge counters do a fuck ton of damage. I don't think a lot of people know this. Characters like main DPS characters with that big dodge counter damage will feel really good. And I think a lot of people don't realize Camellya's dodge counter is a 300% motion value because it's 100% 3 fucking times. I think a lot of people don't actually realize that. And the end result is that she can pump out some insane damage that way. Other teams that I feel like are going to struggle over here is naturally going to be Zani because, well, you have a full Spectro floor over here. And I'm not going to lie, I feel like Zani is also similar to Jiyan in that she wants to muscle through hits. If you're not tanking hits with Zani across her rotation, you are not really having a good time. Saint from the future here, ladies and gentlemen. Just wanted to give a bit of a preview for what the builds actually look like on the Mono Fusion team. I think that's something that I didn't actually cover. You can see over here the Brandt's looking pretty decent on his build. The Loop is missing some crit, and the Changle's looking pretty good as well. So some pretty decent levels of investment overall, but we do have some things, right? Like, well, an attack 3 cost instead of something like fusion damage. So yeah, some optimizations, but nothing too crazy on this one. Honestly, let's give the Augusta team a try down here and see how it does. I'm curious. What does the Augusta team look like down here? Let's check it out. We got the Mortefi ready to go. We got Augusta. Let's get her weapon on, and let's give this a bit of a try. Because I'm pretty sure she'll maintain full uptime on the buff because of her refreshing shield. What the hell? Alright, we should have everything up. Okay, yeah, she's maintaining full uptime on this bad boy. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, no, her refreshing shield is, yeah, her refreshing shield is keeping it up. Yeah. Yeah, her refreshing shield is keeping that shit up. She is, maximizing that shit from day one. Honestly, this might mean you can get John Shin on your team or a Tao Chi and maximize the buffs that way. In reflection, that might be something you can do, is run in John Shin or a Tao Chi, get them to basically battery up this effect, and then swap on over to like your main DPS. What is she attacking? Oh, the boss is already dead. Yeah, I mean, it is 100%. She's maintaining full uptime on it. That's the main thing. Keeping up the shield buff. Your alternative in one situation is don't get hit. The other one is play a shield generating character. Yeah, that's basically it. Don't get hit or play a shield generating character. So yeah, we will be yeah, this is the thing. My rotation's like, I'm rotating too fast. What the fuck even happened here? Why was my shit on cooldown? You skipped Mortify? Oh, I guess, yeah, I was just goofing around, wasn't I? I was like, wait, I got distracted because it was so easy with this buff. This is the thing. Some could view this buff as, like, inherently predatory. I don't really dislike it because it does shield the on-banner character, right? But you can literally activate it by just dodging. It's a shield buff, but you can take full advantage of it by just dodging. And if you can't dodge, right, then naturally playing Augusta or Yuno is going to be nice. But you can also just play Tao Chi or Jiyan, or just dodge, and you get the same effect from it. So it's kind of just like, well, you got to utilize the buff, but every single character in the game can utilize the buff. Every single character in the game can utilize the buff. It's more so just, well, you gotta make sure you're not getting hit if you want to utilize it or have a shielder. And I guess it's like, for people that might have the skill issue, it's like, yeah, you're probably gonna want to put in the Tao Chi if you can't dodge most of the attacks. But yeah, I mean, it's like, this could be something that a lot of people struggle with. This is basically like the dodge check bonus. I will see, based off of future testing, I'm going to go ahead and say this is an accessible buff to every character in the game. This isn't one of those buffs that goes ahead and says, because you don't have a character, you basically can't play. It's a matter of, oh, you have different conditions that you have to do to clear. And if you're playing Augusta or Yuno, you don't really have to do anything different across your gameplay because you're generating these shields anyways. That's shield, 100%. But is it shield to the point where you literally can't clear? Or there are characters that can't activate its effect? No. Every single character in the game can activate this effect. I can't view it as the most predatory shit ever when everyone can use it. And it is a little bit more annoying to use. And that's why we're going to be making quite a bit of follow-up content to explore a couple of things. A, what are some other team alternatives you can use? What are some other shielders you can use? And of course, right, what are some of the special tips and tricks if you don't have a character like Augusta and you don't have Yuno, right? We might be finding that certain characters on the roster might get a little bit of extra time to shine. And some of the examples that I'll just be talking about over here are these two. It's been a while. It's been a while, right, chat? Since you've seen any of these guys doing anything at all. So yeah, we'll be making some follow-up content on this reset. This is kind of like our first impressions on it. Overall, I would just say the middle tower itself is looking pretty good. Like this seems well balanced to me. This is definitely harder. I don't like this Light Crusher boss. It's kind of a piece of shit. And this floor seems to feel pretty good, just having two bosses one after another. It does actually feel quite fun. And the fact that I'm able to brute force it with the fusion team, this ensures, this tells me with an S0R1 fusion team, I'm brute forcing it against a fusion boss. It's not that bad. It kind of really can't be that bad if I'm using on element, resistant, and then clearing it. So yeah, maybe this team is just really cracked. I think the main thing is be able to leverage this buff, and we'll be exploring new techniques to leverage this buff. All right, last thing I'll say is, I know we didn't try the side towers, but I'm just looking over here. It's the fucking gorilla, okay? If you can't beat this guy and your UL is above 60, it's like you should be able to beat this guy. This is a side floor gorilla, and it also is one of the more general buffs in the game. You get 20% attack, and then you get a liberation damage buff. You got this. You're good, bro. What about the left side tower? Okay, it's gonna be Hecate, Spectral Res, and it's gonna be a Zani shield buff. Okay. You also apply your own Spectral Frazzle. Neat, but also like, okay, so Zani's gonna murder this fucking floor. She's gonna clear this floor in 10 seconds. And I guess every other team in the game is gonna do it in like 45. So, yeah, this buff sucks ass. It's also in the side tower. But it's like, this buff sucks because it just makes one character in the game too strong. It's only Zani. That is the only character in the game that has any noticeable difference with this. And it's in the side tower. If you were struggling to the point in the side tower with a well-invested account that you needed this buff on Zani to be able to clear it, that's probably some sort of mistake on your end. So I wouldn't worry about this one too much. Overall, I would rate the new additions to the ToA to be quite nice. Obviously, we didn't get to see off the auto clear feature, and you will be needing to strategize when it comes to your resources to make sure that you're ensuring that you're saving some of your stronger teams for the next couple of zones. But at the end of the day, right, they added new floors to the tower. I think they're relatively achievable depending on the level of investment in your account. Yes, the new characters will have a much easier time clearing this. That is without a doubt a fact. But it's not like you're going in here and you're getting a buff that your characters can't even fucking use. That isn't really what's happening over here. So yeah, that'll be that for that one, ladies and gents. Let me know what you all thought about this reset. And once again, we will be making a lot of follow-up content talking about some of the teams, and we'll likely be doing it every single reset to, you know, get some of the players that might be struggling, get them some tips and or some tips and tricks to getting a full 36-star clear. So yeah, let me know what you all thought. Peace.